Well, listen. Great evening, beautiful people. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All of the beautiful things. Y'all, can y'all believe we are just a few days away from 2026? Is that not wild? Is that not absolutely wild that seriously today is the 28th, which means we got just a few more days? I hope that over the last few days, something has happened good to and for you. And I want to remind you that maybe it hadn't happened for you yet, but y'all, we still got a few more days left. And I am a woman of faith, and I can tell you it doesn't take but a moment for a miracle to happen. So, again, great evening. We are so excited to have you guys with us. We know this is a time of the year where people kind of are like, all right, I'm over professional learning. I'm over thinking through things. So I do not take it for granted that you are either with us live or that you're going to go back and watch this replay. But we definitely hope that something will be said that will help you along your way over the next few days to set you up to have an even more successful New Year's. But y'all know what to do. Go ahead and do me a favor. Like the video, share the video, tag a few friends, and listen, tonight's episode is great for you personally and professionally. So this might be your sister in real life needs this message, or this might be your work bestie that also could benefit. So make sure you send this to them. Tell them, come on, join us. But y'all, what's in your cup? We hope that, again, you have something here. Y'all know I love mugs. Look at one of the things I got for Christmas. I'm an old gal that it doesn't take much to make me happy, y'all. Earrings and a good old mug. It just makes me smile. So what do you have in your cup tonight? What's your favorite choice of beverage this time of the year? I cannot even say that it's hot, cold rather, right? Normal Christmas weather. The weather has been all over the place. It was 77 degrees here today, and it felt like 80 plus. Y'all, it's just a little weird, but it's okay. But y'all know I still love my hot stuff. I am drinking some African nectar tea. It's one of my favorites from Mighty Leaf. Absolutely amazing if you're looking for a new tea, right? And I should be a brand ambassador. But great evening. Make sure you drop a hello. Tell us where you're joining us from. Tonight is a topic that is near and dear to my heart for several reasons. I want to be really transparent tonight with you, sharing some of my biggest struggles and some of my biggest wins for the year in hopes that it will help you better position yourself as you go into the new year. But y'all know what we are here for: a good time, not a long time. It's Boss Moves. It stands for us being bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial. So here we go. Let's get this party started. But before we get it started, I asked this the last time, and I'm going to ask this again. What's one word to describe your current holiday spirit? Full transparency. I am the girl that typically has in my house in central Mississippi, y'all, I have had up to 4 trees in this house. Okay. On a good day, the normal year, 4 different fully decorated Christmas trees in the house. On the coast, I was keeping 2. Full transparency, y'all. Life happened last year. Y'all know my sister passed. I just could not get in the mood to put all the trees up, even though I did put 2 up last year. Y'all, this year, it was a struggle again. It was a struggle again. But literally the day before Christmas, it was Christmas, no, 2 days, to 23rd. I was like, I got to get out of this. I got to shake myself. I know that this is, I know what we enjoy. And so, y'all, I turned on my PJ Morton. Y'all, he has a great Christmas album. Y'all know I'm a PJ fanatic, right? I'm biased. I love him. But his Christmas album is one of the best you could ever just put it on and play. I was like, I just got to shake it. I got to shake it. And so I turned on that speaker loud as I could, and I went to digging out all those things. And as I did it, my spirit was lightened, right? And so I felt so much better that I just went ahead and did that. And it's that way sometimes, y'all, when you're pressing through grief and you're pressing through a different life, a new norm. Sometimes you just got to tell yourself, get up, girl. Okay? So I might be just telling you right now, get up, girl, get up, guy. It's okay. Tell yourself you got to press on. And there is something about the pressing that once you start, you do start to feel a little lighter. So, well, what's your one word to describe how are you feeling right now in the holiday spirit, right? You've done all your Christmas shopping. You're done with that. We're heading, of course, Hanukkah's. We're in the middle of that. Heading for the new year. What's the word to describe how you're currently feeling? Again, make sure you've liked this video, you've shared it, because we are about to get the party started. And we're talking about the power of reflection. How do we right now look back only to go forward. Somebody drop that in the chat for me, just that one word only. And I cannot say this enough. Life keeps life, and I am with you. I am with you, y'all. That is the one and only Pamela Pickett Dubose, y'all. She is a math guru out of this world. She is one of the greatest to ever do it, and I've always been honored and proud to have worked alongside her. Right, but I have this question for you. What is it that you need right now? What are you processing through right now that's going to help you get to where we need to be? And so we're talking about this. How do we forge ahead to go back? But go back, drop it in the chat for me. This is the word only. So many times as we're talking about reflection, we start looking back, and I'm not going to go church on you today, even though it is Sunday, but we know there are several instances in that great book where it tells us, listen, don't look back. Don't look back. It's going to cause you to trip on your own feet, right? Or if you do look back, you're looking back for a particular reason. And y'all know, what about the mirror, the rearview mirror? It's much smaller than the one than the window that is in front of you. And so we want to keep those things in mind tonight as we jump in and talking about the power of reflection. Y'all know we're here for a good time, not a long time. So we're jumping right on in to the first thing that I want to say to you. And I want to say this: without intentional reflection, right? Without intentional reflection, the brain defaults to old habits. Okay. So I want to ask you, what are some of the habits that you had this year that, you know what? They gave me the results that I wanted. They gave me the results that I needed. And then let's be honest. What are some of those habits that you have that you're gonna be honest with it? Y'all know Michael just I'm looking at the man in the mirror, right? Well, be honest. What are some of those habits that you have that you know they are hindering you from jumping to your next level of success? And so tonight, I want to say that again, and y'all drop it in the chat. Without reflection, the brain defaults to habits, which is why we got to be constantly working on what are your habits, because habits put us in autopilot mode, right? So what are you doing automatically without thinking about it, right? And so if we've got bad habits, and we're not intentional to slow down and think through what are we doing, what are the results, right? And that's that reflection piece. Reflection is a true game changer. Let's jump on in, and y'all drop this in the chat for me. You can't fix what you won't face. You cannot fix what you won't face. I cannot say this enough. I don't care if we're talking about personal goals. Let's say you got some financial goals, or you're trying to get your life together financially, or let's say you are a principal in a building and you're trying to transform academic achievement. If you aren't being honest about the current plight, the current situation in which you are currently honestly sitting in, there is no way for you to make the right adjustments. And let me say this again. Drop it in the chat for me, y'all. You can't fix what you won't face. It's not happening. It's impossible to do, right? So it's this concept of you can't accurately adjust what you won't honestly assess. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot accurately adjust what you won't honestly assess. And so as we're talking about reflection, the first thing I want to remind each of us, and myself as well, is we've got to be honest with our current status. Matter of fact, do you know your stats? This is a real conversation tonight. I've been in strategic planning for 2026 for the last 2 months, right? And one day I was sitting there, I was thinking, I was like, okay, my contracts, ABC, and y'all know the government. I'm gonna tell my story one day. I'm not ready to tell it fully yet, but some of y'all that you're working with the government, working contracts with the government, like we've worked through a hard year. But I was sitting there thinking, okay, 2026 is about to turn the page. I was looking at my current quarter one contracts that I have. And for a moment, my brain was like, okay, I know this big picture, the goal that I have outside of the current circumstances, right? Because I want to challenge you to not let what is directly in front of you deter what you know, right? So I know factually that we are making great impact. And I know factually that the income is also going to come with that because we are intentional about making purposeful impact, right? We're operating in our purpose. But so I got this big picture goal. And I'm like, okay, looking at this, what I have in front of me and looking at the way the government is moving with contracts, oh my goodness, I started to feel just a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I created what I call the Big Boss Calendar last year. And a few of my coaching clients have it. Those that started the year with me, they had full access to it. I printed them, I shipped them across the United States, right? But it is literally a calendar that's as big as this picture is behind me. And you can't really tell, but this is a really, really, really big picture behind me. It's about 4 feet wide. The calendar is that big. I kid you not, I was sitting there at the desk and I'm looking at my current contracts that I have and thinking through, okay, I know what my goal is. I know what my target is, right? And for a moment, I got a little distracted. I got a little discouraged. But because I have been tracking my data, listen to me about, you got to be honest about where you are and you got to track it. Somebody put it in the chat. I got to track it. Right? I don't care if you're talking about your finances. I don't care if you're talking about your fitness. I don't care if you're talking about your spiritual walk. I don't care if you're talking about your parenting. How are you tracking your progress? Drop it in the chat. I need to track it. All right. And I'm going to tell you how powerful this thing is. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my goodness, this year is 2026. We turn the page and I'm like, I got to have a better year than last year. Kid you not. I'm sitting there. I look up this big boss, the Big Boss Calendar is what I call it, right? The Big Boss Calendar, I look up and I look straight at Q1 for this year. I look straight at it, y'all. And the number that was on my Q1, right, impacted income. I had the goal and then I had what I actually did, right? Looking at my actual numbers for income and impact, I kid you not, I started crying. Y'all know I'm a crybaby. I started crying because it was like, okay, God, I am sitting here feeling a little down because I hadn't hit this number, and the number that I hit in Q1 in this current situation with the government was what I am is twice as much already. And so I'm saying this to say that's a good story. That was a plus. Okay, I can give you some others where it's not that way. Talking about my health, right? Y'all know I've been tracking the old ladies, perimenopause, all the things, stress hormones, stress belly, all those good things, right? That a lot of us that are dealing with. So I had skipped the gym for a couple of weeks, not intentionally, right? Not intentionally, but those couple of weeks set me back 2 months. Okay, so I just gave you my Big Boss Calendar. How looking at that data and being honest about it, you know what? It gave me some relief because I saw that I was not doing as bad as I thought I was. But then this flip one is, hey, I wasn't doing the work. I hadn't been in the gym. And so my data also trended that way. But again, in either direction, if I know what it is, if I'm facing the truth, I can fix it. I can accurately assess to honestly adjust, right? I can honestly assess to accurately adjust. So it's very important that you are tracking your number. Y'all drop that in the chat. Track my numbers. I don't care what. So right now, I want you to be transparent. What's a big goal that you have walking into 2026? Drop it in the chat because we are goal friends. I cannot say that enough, y'all. You got to get some people in your corner that are headed in the same direction that you are, right? And that doesn't mean you get rid of your old friends, but some of us, you need some new friends. Some of us, you need some new business partners to have coffee with. Some of you, you need a gym friend. You need it. And we've got to stop pretending like we can do everything alone. We can't. Hashtag, we all need somebody to lean on, right? So talking about reflection, you got to be honest with where you are, but we also need those accountability partners. So again, what's a goal that you have getting ready to walk into the new year? What is the actual goal that you have? And I want you to even right now, figure out how am I going to quantify it? How am I going to track my progress toward this goal? Because again, when it gets down time for reflection, how you going to reflect if you had, listen, I forget. If it's not in my notes, I forget, right? If it's not written down somewhere, I forget. So if you are not constantly tracking what you are doing, how do you know what you've done? How do you know what to adjust? So again, talk data to me. Drop it in the chat. Talk data to me. What does your data say about your current progress? So again, don't get stuck on what did not go well this year. Tonight, we're talking about how do you use what actually happened. be it for good or for bad, to set yourself up for your next levels of success. And again, the first thing I gotta say it, you cannot fix what you won't face. Financially, so many of us, right? Life happens. Hashtag life be lifing. Life be lifing, right? And so many of us, any financial guru that you listen to when they're talking about budget, they will tell you first got to sit down. What you got? What do you have coming in and what do you have going out? And if you aren't crystal clear on tracking those things, it's impossible to budget. It's impossible to set yourself up to win. So just keeping that in mind, again, you cannot fix what you won't face. And so again, a practical strategy for me in my business is my big box calendar, because it of course it has the dates, but it's tracking all my clients, it's tracking income, it's tracking influence, it's tracking all of those things. So you got to have a way to measure that. That's the first thing. You cannot fix what you won't face. The second thing I want to remind you of tonight is a delay is not a denial. Again, a delay is not a denial. So many times this time of the year, I remember when I turned 40, when I was getting ready to turn 40, I had all of these things in my mind that I wanted to have accomplished by the time I turned 40. And I was getting ready to turn 40. And so many of those things had not happened for me, right? I was trying to control so much of it. I had been working on some things for 3 to 4 years. It's legit a month before I turned 40. And, you're reflecting and like, oh my goodness, I went into deep meditation. I went into deep prayer, fasting, all of those things. Again, y'all know I'm a woman of faith. I kid you not, within the first 40 days of turning 40, all of that stuff happened so fast. It was mind blowing, right? And so there was an example. And again, right here now, just because something is not happening on your time and does not mean that it's not meant for you. It does not mean that it is not coming. Don't be discouraged in your well-doing. You got to keep pressing, right? So as you're reflecting, and I want you to take time to truly reflect on what's happened in your world this year, what's happened to and for you, good or bad, right? Just be reminded that if there was something, a big goal that you had, that has not come for you, it's not the end of the story yet. Hashtag, are you still breathing? Do this. Did you feel something back? If you felt a little breath back in your face, that means that you are still breathing, which means that there is still opportunity. Drop it in the chat. There is still so much opportunity for your life to unfold in the way in which you want it to go. So just keep that in mind. Again, a delay is not a denial. I want you to keep in mind, y'all know I'm a research girl, I'm a math girl, I'm a psychology girl, and the brain and the way we think and the way we behave is just beautiful, right? It's very important, especially for those of you in leadership. But the part of the brain, right, that's activated for planning, for strategic planning, right, for decision making, is in that prefrontal cortex. And I got to tell you that reflecting, taking about 15 minutes a day. Y'all drop it in the chat. Find 15 minutes a day as we're going into the new year. So don't just wait to the end of the year, reflect. Put that as a habit. We were talking about habits, right? Put that at the forefront of your mind to start practicing at least 15 minutes, really reflecting. Research has shown that people that reflect more often are able to adjust and get 23%, up to 23% higher in their performance, whatever that goal is they're working on. But again, I want to go back to this. A delay is not a denial. So keep pressing. Maybe it didn't happen for you last year. Maybe you've been working on it for 3 or 4 years. You've got to learn to expect greater things to come your way. Hashtag the law of attraction. We reap what we sow. What's coming out of your mouth, being intentional about those things. But remember that, you know what? Add a yet at the end. Y'all drop that in the chat. Add a yet at the end if there is something that you are waiting to happen that has not manifested itself yet. Drop it in the chat, just the word yet, right? We know that be not dismayed in well doing, right? In due season. Just keep going with those things. So the first thing, like I said, when we're talking about the power of reflection, again, we're not looking back to beat ourselves up. We're not looking back to blame. We're looking back to assess what happened, what were the results, and then how do we forge ahead. So again, tip 1, you cannot fix what you won't face, y'all. We got to be honest about our current stats. Hashtag talk dirty, talk not dirty, talk data. Talk data to me, okay? Tip 2, a delay is not a denial. Here we go. Tip 3, and this is a really, really big one. Reflection is not about finding blame. It's about getting in the right lane. And this is especially for those of you who are leading teams. Let's say you're a principal right now. All right. Let's say you're a manager at a restaurant. Let's say, you know what, you're the head charge nurse. If you are leading people, this is really, really, really important for you, because so much of the research behind team dynamics and teamwork and synergy, right, and the ability for teams to perform well together is, we'll reflect, but we get together, reflect, and, the thought process starts to be, she didn't do her job. He didn't do his job, right? They didn't do their job. And so it becomes a blame game instead of us getting in alignment. And so what I want you to know, whether you're reflecting just for yourself, don't get in the habit of looking back to blame. It is not going to serve you well. It's not going to serve you well. We're not looking back to blame. We're looking back to figure out what happened so we can better balance. It's all about getting in alignment. Think about this. Potholes, y'all know me and my car chronicles, right? Not too long ago, I hit a pothole on the interstate. Kid you not. It blew the tire out, got the tire fixed, but I still had to go back. My guys, they were like, I had to go back for an oil change. And so, of course, they checked everything. And my guy says, Dr. Nelson, your car has to be running hard to the left. It has to be running hard to the left. And I was like, why do you say that? He said, well, it's out of alignment. It's out of alignment. And I said, okay. And so again, here we go. Me and him, we're brainstorming. Well, what did I do? What did I do? Y'all, we got down to the fact with, you know what? I probably knocked it completely out of place, those two potholes I hit. But me even acknowledging that was the basis of what happened, that was the cause. It didn't fix the fact that the car was out of alignment. I still had to get the car in alignment if I wanted to drive that baby smooth. And y'all, I'm a fast runner, so I want my car to drive smooth. And so I want you to think of it that way. Think about your car. It could be, you can blame all day. It was the left tire, the back tire, it was the seat that didn't fix it. But at the end of the day, it's out of alignment. So it does us no good to do the blame. We've got to get in the right lane, and we've got to be going at the same speed. So I want to remind you of that. Y'all, it's very, very, very important that even as you're talking about not blaming yourself, we are our own worst enemies, right? We are our biggest critics, and we are our own barriers. Let me say that again. We're our biggest critic, we're our own worst enemies, and we're also our biggest barriers. And so as you get ready to honestly reflect, yes, you need to hold yourself accountable. Let me say, you need some self-accountability. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard than anybody else ever could, right? If you're talking about being excellent and you're talking about making impact. You've got to do that for yourself, but that is not about blaming yourself, because hashtag, as our friend told us earlier, life be lifing. Life be lifing. And it doesn't just happen to you, it happens to us all. So we've got to make sure that in the process of reflecting, we don't get stuck in the blame. I should have. I could have. I should have, right? Those are two things that will keep us spinning in circles. And the next thing you know, your car is driving in the wrong direction. And so we want to keep that baby driving forward in the right lane and at the right speed. So making sure that we do that. Remember, and also blaming puts us into a state of mind where it's cognitive overload. Have you ever felt like I just can't think straight? It's too much on me, right? So blaming yourself for an extended amount of times puts you in a state of cognitive overload. And when you are in cognitive overload, you aren't thinking straight, right? Which means you can't get out of whatever situation, the habit that you're in, if you're there. So making sure that as you move forward, you got to have some lightness in your being to do that. And so don't get stuck on the blame game. Hashtag, it's not helping you at all. So again, tip 1, you can't fix what you don't face. Tip 2, a delay is not a denial. Reflection is not about finding blame. It's about getting in the right lane, and that's about alignment. And then this last one, I need y'all to drop it in the chat for me. Drop this one in the chat. Stop making barriers for who you are becoming. I'm going to be quiet for just a second because I want everybody on. Make sure you like the video. Make sure if you tagged a friend, send this to a friend, like the video for me. Again, we appreciate all the support. Those likes and those shares go a mighty long way. So we really appreciate that. But drop that in the chat for me. Stop making barriers for who you are becoming. If you are doing this thing the right way, you should be a different version of yourself today than you were last year this time. And oh my goodness, you're setting yourself up for a disservice if you aren't making adjustments now to be a different person a year from now, an elevated, upgraded, right? Y'all know what Beyonce said, let me upgrade you, right? An upgraded version of yourself is critically important that you're doing that. But I got to tell you, you often are the reason that you are not forwarding your head. Like, I'm a realist. Are we dealing with all types of issues? Yes, I just shared with you, and I'm transparent. I lost over $125,000 worth of contracts this year with the way the government was moving, straight off of policy changes. Do you hear me? That's a real thing. So I am not saying that we don't have real forces that we are having to adjust with, attend with, pivot, right? Y'all, the power of the pivot. We are constantly having to activate the power of the pivot. So I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying in the midst of all of these outside forces coming to slow down your progress, still and yet the biggest barriers that we have are those that we create for ourselves. And so I want to say to you today, right, to give yourself permission to change. Give yourself permission to grow. Give yourself permission to say, you know what, as I'm reflecting back on this data, I clearly had too many cookies. And I knew I know they were, I did it. I ate them, I cooked them, they were fresh out the oven, and I ate 3 back to back. I did that, right? But it does not serve me well to stay in that. Like, it's okay to at this point say, nope, I'm not that person anymore. I'm choosing celery sticks and 1 cookie over the 5. Right? It's okay. It's okay to say, you know what? At the beginning of the year, I was a ramen girl. Hashtag, I don't like it anymore. My taste buds have changed. It's okay. And I cannot say this enough, talking about barriers. Who you are connected to is going to have a great impact on the level of success that you have going forward in 2026. Let me say it again. And I'm going to ask the question and drop it in the chat. Who am I connected to? Ask yourself that. Who am I connected to? I don't care if we're talking about personally, professionally, spiritually, all of the LYs, right? Who am I connected to? It's going to matter. And so for so many of us, we are stalled in our progress because we aren't willing to put ourselves in different rooms. And this is a shameless plug, but you need to get in the space where people are going in the direction, even if they aren't there or they are there, going in the direction in which you want to come. So speaking of that, if you've not secured your ticket, y'all, and the VIP tickets are selling really fast, we've been excited about that. Make sure that if you are in the Mississippi Gulf Coast area, listen, join us for our empowerment event. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Goals and Glitz is a space for people who are ready to elevate. It's a space for people who are ready for greater impact, greater income, and they realize that they can't do it alone. I cannot say it enough. Dr. Lakeisha Hallman says it all the time, right? She talks about the village. It takes a village, and we all need a village. We talk about having a village for our children, but as adults who are evolving, who are growing, who are changing, who are elevating, who are responsible for leading others, you too need a village. And so don't feel bad about sometimes you got to adjust who the village is. It's okay to have new goal friends. It's okay to have new business partners. It's okay. Matter of fact, hashtag you need that. So again, stop making barriers. So many times people will say, well, I don't know anybody. I didn't go to the event because I didn't know anybody, or I didn't go after the contract because I wasn't sure who else was going after, or I didn't apply for the position because maybe somebody, nope, hashtag those are your own barriers that you're putting in place. And so as you're reflecting on this year, on the things that you want to have happen, I want you to be honest with yourself. Was it that someone stopped you, or hashtag you stop yourself in your mind before your hands could ever do the work to try to attain the thing that you're working on? So again, I got to remind you that you are more powerful than you can imagine. You are absolutely more powerful. But again, you've got to tell yourself that, and you've got to move in that way. Again, who you are has a direct impact on how you move professionally. So who are you? You got to constantly be talking to yourself about your evolution. So again, I'm going to say this one more time. Y'all know we're here for a good time, not a long time. So number one, be honest with yourself. What went well? What didn't go well? And we use those things to adjust, make those real-time adjustments. And don't try to do everything at one time. That is a major mishap that most of us get caught up on, because again, it takes a good minute to adjust habits. And if you're trying to throw out every single behavior that you have, and this is coming from a psychology standpoint, if you're trying to throw out every single behavior you have at one time and adjust and pivot all of those, hashtag epic fail. It's cognitive overload. You've heard me say that. It's too much. So pick one thing, start with one thing, and then add as you go. But again, you gotta be honest about where you are in the progress with your goals. Why are you in the current predicament? Did you splurge too much? Did you not study enough? Right? Did you? What is the thing? And again, don't beat yourself up. That's another one. But again, you can't fix what you won't face. Track your data. Track it, track it, track it, track it, y'all. That's one of my fortes. Data. Track your data. Whatever it is that you're working on in your organization or in your home. Two, a delay is not a denial. I cannot say it enough. I worked on so many things 3 or 4 years, and it was not happening. Do you hear me? In 40 days, I had more movement on so many things that I had been working and trying to make happen for almost 3 to 4 years. And it happened in 40 days. Y'all drop it in the chat. 40 days versus 4 years. So I want to encourage you to not get so discouraged that you stop moving, right? It's okay to feel the feels. And I think that's important too, that we got to stop acting like we're okay when we're not. Like that is not okay, right? We are powerful beings, but we don't have to be all knowing and have all things together at all times. It's too much pressure on you, right? So, but I am saying that as you forge ahead, you got to be honest about where you are, where you're trying to go to. The delay is not the delay. It's okay to get discouraged. Just don't stop. Keep going, even if you got to move at snail pace, right? Dust yourself off and keep that thing moving. So again, can't fix what you won't face. Delay is not a denial. Reflection is not about blaming. Hashtag blaming at this point in the game when you're talking about reflection. Now, do you need to hold people accountable? Yes. As I'm reflecting on my household, Tyler Jacob is going to get some more accountability, right? He's going to get some more boundaries as we move into the new year. So it's not about that piece. Blaming and accountability, that's two different pieces. So I'm not saying don't hold yourself, number one, accountable and the people around you accountable, right? And with boundaries. But I am saying that blaming doesn't help. It's about alignment. Blaming doesn't help. It's about getting in the right lane. And then stop making barriers for who you're becoming, right? Who you are becoming is beautiful, right? It's powerful. It's purposeful, right? So it's very important that you give yourself grace to do that. Y'all know I'm a teacher. So here we go. What's your one takeaway from tonight? Please make sure that you've shared this video, you've liked this video, that even after the fact, send it to somebody. Just hit the share button at the bottom, copy the link, send it to somebody. Let them listen to it because, again, we're all in this thing together. But what's your one takeaway from tonight? Go ahead and drop that in the chat for me. I do have about 2 more dates only in January that we are open to support some organizations. And we are so fortunate that we have so many new partners for the 2026 term. Some schools, some corporations, some government agencies, with the whole nine, right? So if you are needing support in the areas of leadership, right, teamwork, performance, culture, those are our areas that we help people. And a big one right now has been effective teamwork and effective communication, right? Because a lot of us are struggling with that. Speaking of that, y'all, one of my favorite Christmas gifts, let's all be kind as we walk into this new week, as we walk into this new year. As I'm reflecting, I have more opportunity to be even more kind than I have been this year. And I am looking for those opportunities. But drop it in the chat for me, y'all. What's your one takeaway from tonight? Again, I dropped the link in the chat. Make sure you're in the space. So many women have actually, and men, y'all, have bought tickets to the event. And they've opted for the VIP because VIP for Goals and Glitz actually comes with a coaching session, which if you have reached out before about coaching, you know our coaching sessions are high impact and they do cost you money, right? Because we know when we pay attention and we're all about impact. So if we're working together, we need you to pay attention. But make sure that, if you're interested in that, it is truly a bargain for that particular event. And that was intentional because I really want to help people get off to a great start for this new year. But again, make sure that in the chat, you click on that, join us there. We hope that you, again, are experiencing a great holiday season. And even if you have not up until this point, let me tell you, it's okay. As someone who is, again, continuing to process through, I can't even say it's been a day-to-day process, y'all. There have been times that it's been an hour-to-hour process. It's okay. Give yourself space. Give yourself grace to feel and to grow, right? So it's been a great time tonight. I will see you guys before the new year. I am going to go offline for a few days to reset for the new year, but I cannot wait for all of us. I cannot wait for all of us to have our absolute best year yet. And we are not going to allow what we see, what we hear, and I'm gonna be honest, even what we feel to deter us from what we know is to be true about our purpose on this earth, y'all. We've got some living and some impact and some legacy making to do. And so let's get to it again. Y'all drop it in the chat for me. Let's go make boss moves. We only have a few more days left in this year. And so every single day, every move, every step. Oh, I can't see that. This did it. Okay. All right, y'all. Make sure that we are making boss moves with every step you take. Remember, it's all about all of us being bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial. And Lord knows we need more people in the world who are operating in purpose, who are operating in optimism, who are being willing to be the difference, to make somebody's day, and to make sure that we're leaving people better than we found it. Y'all go have a great boss rest of the year, and we will see you guys soon. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see y'all soon. Be boss.